Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Surrey Business Expo interviewing series with our exhibitors. And today it's the turn of the lovely Rebecca Newenham from Get Ahead VA. Hi, Rebecca, how are you doing?
Oh, hi, Alan. Really good for a Monday, thank you.
Yes, yeah. You're very brave. This is the first of our Monday slots. I've opened them up. They were just Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I've opened it up to do it any day. Excuse me, any day of the week that I'm free. And you've taken the first Monday slot, so very brave of you. Very, very brave. So, Rebecca, you've been running Get Ahead for a few years now. Do you want to give us a little bit of a background about how Get Ahead came about, what it's evolved into? Because it's not just Surrey or UK now; it's international.
Oh, global, baby. Yes.
Yeah.
So Get Ahead, I founded it in 2010. So that classic, had a career break, had 3 kids, and then wanted something for myself, and had always realised that I had it in me to create something. My mum had run a tutorial agency when I was growing up, and she always inspired me, and that idea of flexible working, fitting work in amongst bringing children up. So Get Ahead was born in 2010. We were then just me at the beginning offering virtual admin services. And I was a retail buyer before I had my girls. So admin has always been fine, but not a passion of mine. So I knew I had to try it myself to sort of get a sense of whether it had legs. And I know, Alan, we met in those early days at networking, and networking I'm so passionate about, because that's how my business sort of grew and flew in those early years, was simply by showing up regularly and consistently at local networking meeting some really interesting clients. And then the business has been scaled through the use of freelancers to provide any support that our clients have needed, whether it's admin, telephone answering, right through to PR, marketing, websites, you name it, anything now. So we've morphed from Get Ahead, your virtual assistant, to Get Ahead, your virtual agency. And as you touched on, 5 years ago, I scaled the business through a franchise model. So I'm now a franchisor, and we're growing steadily around the UK. And then we launched in Sydney in Australia 18 months ago. And I wasn't looking to scale it that quickly globally, but we had mutual friends, and it's all come together beautifully. And obviously we can offer 24-hour support with our team in Australia now as well. So that's brilliant. And I got to meet Taryn and the team at Christmas, so that was amazing.
Yeah, I saw your post from your travels. Yeah.
Oh, I had a lovely time. And what the irony, Alan, is of course the same networking happens wherever you are in the world. So I attended a networking meeting, and it was just like being back at home, except it was sunny. So lovely, and I'm really passionate about that. So scaling it through the franchise model, and providing a wealth of people with an opportunity to do the work they love. So whether that's our freelance team, or I went frozen then. Whether it's our freelance team or for my franchisees, and you will meet Christy and Suzanne, who run my Berkshire, Hampshire and Surrey team at the Expo. And I've given them that opportunity to be business owners in their own right, with my support and our branding behind them. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously witnessed your journey as you've grown and developed, and the business has expanded, and it's been brilliant to watch from the sidelines and see how it's all developed and evolved, and that's really, really good. So what sort of businesses, you mentioned a whole range of services there, what sort of businesses are you really looking to talk to at the Expo?
So at the Expo, love meeting founders, business owners that are probably in that stage of scaling. And I would say that actually COVID and the pandemic has done us a favour, in the sense that we no longer have to say, well, client, no, your assistant's not going to be sitting in your office with you. They are remote, they can do the work. So there's been a huge shift in confidence. So anyone that's wanting to scale their business, perhaps got a project they need support with, or perhaps they're wanting to see if they actually could justify employing somebody. So we get people at that stage of development, whether it's social media, marketing, admin, but equally we will slot in and offer expertise to businesses that are established that perhaps just need a specific level of support at any given time. So we obviously love working with people at any stage, because we can see that value. And my franchisees are project managers, they are the outsourcing experts. So our clients just have one conversation with them, and then all their requirements are fulfilled by that one person. So we really save a business owner having to sort of find what support they need, then go and actually find the person to deliver it and manage it as well. So it's a real sort of cost saving, not only in time, but also in the expertise that we offer.
Yeah, it's interesting because I talk to a lot of business owners, and they struggle from, they often start out as solo entrepreneurs, run their own business, and then they get to that stage where they can't cope with everything. And it's knowing how to take that first step towards, and I think, using an agency like yourselves is a great way of actually growing your business without actually having to take staff on.
Yes, because that's a huge, like you say, it can be quite, you can look at it and be quite daunted by the fact you can be celebrating the fact that you're growing and need help, but you can equally be daunted by the fact of, well, I don't want to make a mistake. How can I guarantee people can support me? So that's exactly it. By having a conversation with one of my franchisees who are so used to dealing with businesses from all sorts of industries, we can actually pinpoint specific areas, and things can be tried and tested. You don't have to make a huge commitment up front and then think, well, I'm stuck with this now. No, that's totally not how we work.
I'm going to be really cheeky now and come up with an ask, because as you know, I've relaunched the Guildford Hub.
Yes.
One of the sessions down the line later on this year is about how do you actually grow, and about using an outsource agency. And I was hoping to get somebody like yourself or one of your franchisees to come along and just give us a little talk about what are the considerations for taking somebody on, how to actually structure the contracts, the requirement, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
So that would be really great if you could.
I'd love to. Absolutely.
we'll have more of a conversation offline about that. But so I thought I'd get out now. Ask there.
Like style, Alan.
So. Obviously, you talked a lot about networking and how important it is, and I'm completely with you on that. I mean, especially if you've got a local business, there is no better way of growing that business and making the right connections and developing the relationships really quickly by face-to-face networking. I mean, online's been great, and I've done a lot of online networking, but it is still much more difficult to make the real connection with people online versus face-to-face. And with that in mind, you actually co-host or host the Guildford's LinkedIn Local. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
So it was something that I'd gone to a local one in Farnham, seen that in operation. And then a friend of mine, Sally Rule, and I both thought it would be nice to do it in Guildford. We both thought it at the same time. So we set it up together 4 years ago, actually, this March, which is amazing. And I've now, since COVID, I've sort of been running it. We did it online for quite a lot of the time, and I had one of my team members supporting us, managing those awful breakout rooms and making sure everyone got value from that. And now, I'm running it once a month. And we said before we went live, didn't we, how amazing it has been to have grown that community. I've got core members, of which, Alan, you are one of my founding members, that comes every month. But we're getting heard about, and new people are trying it out. And I ran a networking session for Catmac at the Surrey Uni last week on networking, and I know a number of her entrepreneurship cohort will be coming to our meeting this week, and it's lovely. It's just a safe space to meet other people, and I don't do the 60-second bit. There's a place in every networking for different styles, isn't there? And I think for this
absolutely,
evening, 7 o'clock, buy a drink and just mingle. And I do spend time introducing people as well. I'm very aware that
you are very good at making sure that people circulate in the room and introducing people to the right people.
It's a little nudge to one side, but I think personally, there's nothing worse, I think, than attending a meeting and you're just sort of left at the door thinking, and if somebody is slightly introverted, there's nothing worse than feeling lost in that space. So I do pride myself on making sure people feel comfortable, and then of course that's a win-win for everybody then.
Yeah, it's, especially if you're new to networking, and you work up in the city, so you're actually coming to LinkedIn Local to meet other people that are on LinkedIn that are local, rather than looking to do business with people. It can be really quite daunting just sort of walking into a room full of people chatting away. So it's really lovely the way you do that.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I still find, I think I'm probably one of those people, I like being in charge, but if I go to a meeting that I'm not running myself, I do still find it hard to sort of enter a group where people are chatting. And I think you just have to realize that everyone should be in a networking environment for the same reasons, and that actually it's about being polite and respectful of other people in the room.
Yeah, and for me personally, your LinkedIn local group works really, really well, because when LinkedIn Local first started, I was encouraged by somebody else to try and grab the Guildford branch and start it up myself. But I didn't want to, because being a LinkedIn coach, I was afraid that people would think, right, LinkedIn coach, he's set up LinkedIn Local purely to promote his services, which wouldn't have been what I was trying to do. But it would have felt that to a lot of people that maybe that's what I'm trying to do. So I was so delighted when you set it up, because I knew you draw loads of people in, and it give me the opportunity, and you very kindly give me the opportunity to have a little
I do
talk about LinkedIn tips each time we run it, which is wonderful, because that starts conversations for me as well. So it works so much better for me than if I was trying to run the group, and I don't know the admin either.
Ticking the box all round then, Alan.
Yeah, so it's a win-win-win situation for me. So thank you for that.
Pleasure. Yes, no problem.
So you've exhibited at Surrey Business Expo for a few years now.
Oh gosh, I remember when it was back at the Spectrum, and I remember it was my first expo, and one of my networking friends, Debbie Flowerday, is a wonderful merchandise is probably the wrong word, but she helped me set my stand up. And I remember being so chuffed because Paul Bridgen had made reference, I think, on one of the social media channels to me, my stand, because I had wallpaper that looked like a bookshelf, and I put my things up, and I just wanted to avoid the dreaded roller banner, and that was it feeling. And and it's sort of morphed ever since. And I love them. I love almost setting up shop and the conversations that you have, and knowing you're going to make new friends by the end of the day as well. And I think, like anything, they always have their sort of lulls, don't they? So it's how you manage that. And I think it's about, my advice for anyone coming as an exhibitor is, do your marketing beforehand, invite people you want to see, and almost use that as an opportunity because then you're helping everyone. So I think there's nothing worse, is there, than people that don't market they're going to be there and then still expect everyone to be rocking up on the day. But I know Paul and the team and Steve do a wonderful job at promoting it. And I say that because we're obviously doing some of the social media behind it. So I know that my lovely Mel's doing a great job at being consistent in the marketing, and you're also good at showcasing, like this opportunity, other exhibitors, which makes a huge difference. But I think ultimately the exhibitor has to have a level of responsibility for promoting that they're going to be there.
Indeed, and also once they booked their stand and turned up, it's about two things. It's about making sure that the stand looks good. So it's not just a roller banner or a table and some leaflets.
Oh, and don't stand behind the table. That's my absolute bugbear. And I say that to my franchisees as well. I almost don't let them have a table, because I think it reminds me of those awful sort of boot fairs or something, where people are standing behind eating their sandwiches, not wanting to look at anyone. You've got to be animated and draw people in. There's nothing worse than being or not giving eye contact.
It's all about the eye contact, and if somebody doesn't want to talk to you, they'll look away.
I always remember my first ever one I went to in Guildford, not exhibiting, but as an attendee, and someone wanting to try and catch my eye. Did I want aircon in my office? And I sort of thought, you couldn't have been more wrong. But you've got to be there for the right reasons, and book into all the educational slots. And I know you always run seminars, don't you? And it's about planning your agenda as an attendee as much as anything, to get the most out of it. No,
I'll be running one of my little LinkedIn workshops for the expo as well. So that'll be really good. And the other thing is always to have people on your stand that are willing to engage. The number of exhibitors who book a stand and then send a junior member of staff, no training, no briefing, and they sit at the back of the stand on their mobile phone all day, and don't talk to anyone. It's like
that's actually worse, I think, than not being there, isn't it? Because and we often
the wrong impression.
No, exactly. And actually, a lot of our team will often hire out to clients to be with them. We always say it's the importance of being briefed beforehand and having the questions and just things to engage people with as well. And I mix sometimes about competitions. I think sometimes they're great, but then sometimes you just get cards for cards' sake, and then you get added onto a mailing list you don't want to be on. You know, there's a fine line, isn't there? I think between what you're offering.
Yeah. So you're offering services of some of your assistants to help understand if they would like to hire them. Yeah.
Yes. No. Absolutely. We've certainly done that quite a few times in the past, and it's a nice way of just having somebody perhaps covering lunchtime or just giving some support. If you as an exhibitor are on your own, it can be quite tiring.
It can be quite exhausting, actually. I've roped in my middle son again.
Oh, good. I think we were next to him last year, weren't we? I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Good old conversation. That's what I love. You make new friends with your neighbours, and there's nothing worse. It's like, why wouldn't you chat to who you're with on the day? It's sort of quite a unique little sort of time, isn't it?
And even if there's other businesses there doing what you do, there's still an opportunity. I'm a great believer in growing the pie rather than trying to just grow your slice of the pie.
Totally. And we all know that classic, people buy from people. It's about you being you and being authentic and just engaging with that local community, and take lots of pictures and videos. And I know Mel's going to be with us on the day, going around taking pictures of the exhibitors, but that as well, engage on social media where you can, because that all helps with the overall message, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. So clearly you have developed a load of business experience over the years, and I think you've morphed that into another sort of string to your bow with a mentoring. Do you like that little segue?
Segue into it. Yeah, so I am doing some business mentoring now, as well as being a franchise consultant. So I've got two arms. So I'm part of a franchise consultancy called Ashton's, and we support brands that are wanting to franchise like I've done, which is lovely. And I love being part of another team where I'm not in charge, and I'm meeting amazing business owners through that are thinking of scaling. And then the other side is my sort of Rebecca Newenham consulting. So working with business owners that need a cheerleader in their camp, and I love being somebody's cheerleader. So perhaps they have imposter syndrome, worried about finances, not quite sure how to take the business forward. And I was laughing at a networking recently, and I said, if I hadn't had mentoring and coaching during my last 12 years, I probably wouldn't be married or have any friends left, because I would be talking to them the whole time. So I think that's the beauty of bringing people in to support you. And I'm loving the clients I'm working with at the moment and seeing them actually taking action. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? And I'm not on anyone's case, but I have an opinion, and I think that's why for me mentoring fits better than perhaps going down a business coaching line, because I feel I want to add value where I can and open my mouth and give my opinion. So
I've got this vision of you in a client's office working with them with orange pom-poms now doing the cheerleading.
I'm more blue. I'm trying to find my business mentoring. I've gone more pinky corally blue now, and my green jumpsuits. We won't mention a local business owner that we all know that accused me of looking like a mechanic in my green jumpsuit recently. I think we can all guess who that was. Yeah,
usually I'm kind.
But I think that's another thing for me, as you've rightly said, Alan. Orange is my Get Ahead colour. I've got Jerry behind me, who is my caricature from the book I wrote. It's around getting you want to stand out, and that's something at exhibitions is a really nice way of being able to do that. You want people to glance up and go, well, there's blah blah. I know that they've got everything together. So spend some time thinking about how you want your stand to look. We often have orange tulips or some those lovely Lindor chocolates, and it's just sort of being little subtle things like that make a difference. And also one other thing, Alan, is following up. That would be my tip. Yes. We all like a bit of following up. There's nothing worse than someone having a conversation with you, and then they'll forget after all the other conversations they've had. So I would just encourage, especially newbies, to follow up. Yes.
I always talk to my clients about foo-foo.
That sounds a bit wrong.
Following up the follow-up. That's the polite version of it, anyway.
Well, I'm blushing now. But it's so true, isn't it? Because I think otherwise you've invested time, energy, and cash in exhibiting. Why let it all go by the wayside? And I think it's that whole, you don't want to just add someone to a random list and not give them value either. So it's being mindful of what you're sending them. But a free discovery call, a quick link to your Calendly where you can book in to have a chat, all those things make it as easy as possible for somebody to engage with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Oh,
it's been lovely chatting to you. I'm really looking forward to seeing you on your stand. This year, I'm not going to be next year. This year, I don't think.
Oh dear, I don't know if I'm going to handle that. No,
stands
so
towards the
I've
end.
got Christy and Suzanne with me who run Surrey region, so that'll be really exciting. And Mel has
It'd be
been
lovely
doing
to meet them. Actually, I
Yes.
should definitely come around and say hello and and meet up with them. That'd be really, really good. And yeah, it'd be great to get you involved in a session for the hub later in the year.
Oh, I'd love that. Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks for your
fantastic.
time.
Thank you. And we'll be back with more interviews with exhibitors for the expo. Tomorrow we have Mike Black from Oakwood Mortgage Services with one of his colleagues, Clive Baker from the Equity Release Experts. So they'll be talking all things mortgages and IFAs and financial personal planning and all that sort of rubbish. Then on Thursday, we've got John Lloyd from Blue Dot Display, who will, you'll see a lot of John's work at the expo because he does probably about half of the stands for people. And he's brilliant. So we're looking forward to talking to John on Thursday. And we've got more booked in for next week. But if you're an exhibitor watching this and you haven't booked in yet, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's get you booked in for your exhibitor interview so that we can help promote you and promote the show in the run-up, because we're only about 30 days away from the show now. Woo! Yes. Yeah. So thanks again, Rebecca. And I will see you later this week at LinkedIn Local. On
Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday at 7. Yeah.
Right. That's wonderful. So see you on Wednesday and see everybody else online either tomorrow or later in the week. Thanks, everybody.